go. Oh, okay. We're going.
Sorry, I started a little early there.
Countdown. So, welcome back to... Okay, I'm a little close to this mic. All right. Welcome back to Mind Castle, where we talk about the mind and improving ourselves so we can live at peak performance and do awesome things and stuff. Yeah. So we just finished a great episode on, which is the previous one, which you should probably go listen to, on being intentional about our lives and not taking the path of least resistance, but blazing a trail and lots of good stuff there. And so we kind of wanted to springboard off of that into another subject, a little bit more detailed subject about being intentional and being disciplined. That is cold showers. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Who's excited for this topic?
I'm just going to sit here and say nothing.
So I've been taking cold showers, like cold, like all the way cold. No heat at all, except for one where I was in a guest house and I couldn't figure out how to make the shower cold. And so that was very unfortunate.
How long have you been doing this?
About 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Every day?
Every day.
And right now it's winter. So
it's cold.
Really
yeah, because
lame.
we have well water. And so at winter, it is freezing cold.
Yeah, like, have you got a temperature on it?
I'm going to do it. See, I'm making a video on this probably today. So I'm going to record the temperature and see. I'm going to guess it's probably like 60, 55.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Sounds about right.
Enough to make your hands and feet go numb.
Really? Do they turn blue and black and stuff?
They turn a little bluish because all the blood circulation just like right to your core to try to keep you warm. It's great.
Yep. And your brain.
Anyway, why in the world would someone endure such pain and abnormality of
Please do tell.
behavior to take a cold shower? Well, I will tell you. First of all, how did this start? So about, when was it? I don't even know. Like I said, 3 or 4 months ago, I was feeling a little bit lethargic and just kind of undisciplined and just like plodding along through life, not being intentional at all. And I was like, this is stupid. This is unacceptable. I can't keep doing this. And then I was like, all right, it was in the evening. I was like, what is the most disciplined thing I could do right now that I'm in complete control of? And I was like, I could take a cold shower. I had toyed around with the idea a little bit, like where, I'd do kind of the wimpy method where I'd start with it really hot and then slowly turn it cold. And it's like, this is like, no, can't do that. But that was like way before. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to take a cold shower because I need to know whether or not I'm actually in control of what I do and whether or not I can actually do hard things. And so I was like, all right, so whip it on cold, jumped in full steam, full He-Man method. And, it was great.
Did you die? Oh,
no,
okay.
no, I didn't die. I nearly died. I couldn't talk for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Like physiologically, what happened to you? Not mentally, but like you actually in your body.
So, okay, when you jump in for the first time, first of all, you have to jump in like caveman style. You can't do this whole like test the water thing because you never get used to it. It's the initial shock is the same every time. That's why I love it. So I usually get a running start. And try not to slip and die on the bathroom tub. Except this last time, I didn't calculate my trajectory quite right. And I cleaned out the shower curtain with my head.
Like the rod?
The rod. Just full
ow.
bean myself. So not only am I getting frozen to death, I get this huge like hit on my head from the shower curtain.
So like you're
double
okay,
whammy.
so I'm trying to imagine this. So you're like, you pull the curtain back so you can jump in, right? And you're literally on the outside.
Yep.
And you like launch off the sink or something in some ninja mode.
Yeah.
And you like land.
It makes
2
it
feet.
so much more dramatic. Like
This is hilarious.
Because I had to start doing it that way because I had to like hype myself up because so you asked what happens physiologically. I guess I'll get to that. So what happens first is you hit the water and I usually jump in like so that my chest and everything are getting hit by the water because that's like your core is there. Your back, like if you turn around and let the water fall on your back will be fine. Like after a couple seconds, you don't even hardly feel the cold water. Your core is what's going to be the most shocked. Just like when you get into a swimming pool, you can go into like your waist and you're pretty much okay. But once you like when the water comes up to your chest, that's when it's like,
Yeah.
So that's like the initial shock is just like your vision and everything just like goes full like squint mode and like everything just like slows down and it's just like and like everything kind of screeches to a halt, and then you're like, I'm dying, and then it's like, all right, here we go. And
wow.
like your body, like you just like, I had to hold my breath because otherwise you just like, and like I used to like punch my fists a few times because that, kind of helps warm me up, and like rub my shoulders. Like your body is literally like, I'm dying. This is death.
Yeah, preservation mode. Yeah,
and your body is in full freak out mode. It's great. So physiologically, it's one of the most amazing sensations, because it's pure shock. And like the reason why I love it is I think it's almost better than a polar plunge. Not like an actual polar plunge, but like people build polar plunges that are like 55 degrees and they plunge themselves in it.
Like actual polar plunge is northern
actual.
Finland, like 2 feet
that's
thick
totally
ice.
Different.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, well, okay, yeah. But the thing with something like that is you get completely soaked head to toe instantly. The thing with a shower is you don't get completely soaked. So like you're facing the water and your back instantly warms up because air temperature is like 75 degrees. So you turn around and you get that whole other shock all over again. And so you have to constantly keep turning. And I made this mistake where I would jump in and like face the water so that like my chest and everything would get acclimated. And then I would turn around and be like, yeah, I'm dying again. And so I had to like do a couple rotations in the water to make sure I would get fully like wet. So my whole body is acclimating. And so it's like you're getting attacked by these 1,000 little droplets of watery death. And then after about 10 seconds, you kind of just start getting used to it. And
your body just starts adjusting, right? Like the nervous system starts adjusting. And
at first my fingers and stuff would start going numb, but like I don't get that as much unless it's really cold.
So this is kind of interesting because I've dabbled with this slightly, not to this level. I do typically do cold-ish showers, but not all the way ice cold. But like cold enough to where it takes your breath away. I usually do one of those every morning. And the reason is, not nearly as dramatic as yours, but it is good for me. Like in the first act of the day is like, I mean, talk about wake you up, it'll wake you up. And I found I'm way more productive in the mornings because I'm just like, whoa, the cold showers are not helping your health. Anyway, man, he's sick over there. Okay. So that was the other thing is health-wise, some of the best things you can do for yourself, own a sauna, because that's super good for you, and do like cold showers or ice baths or cold exposure is actually a thing, like cold therapy. And there's a bunch of gurus that go all over the place on this. Like Wim Hof is the most famous, I guess you could say, which to be fair, I mean, he is the Iceman. Yeah. Like the guy is
kind of a stud muffin.
Which, by the way, he has a book out. Have you read it?
I haven't.
I think it's just called Wim Hof Method or something. Yeah. One of us should buy it.
Super fascinating.
So that we can read it.
Let's do it.
The guy is actually a physiological anomaly. Like, see, he's been scientifically studied so much to try to figure this out because he'll literally just submerge himself in ice water in like, where does he live?
Norway.
Netherlands, I think.
Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah, so like Netherlands is pretty far north. So he'll like in the winter go out in the mountains somewhere. And there's been tons of videos on this. It's fully documented. There's nothing weird about it. Like as in he's not tricking anybody. And he'll just sit down in like an icy stream because it can't freeze because the water's moving that kind of cold. Like the water is literally below freezing.
Yeah.
And he'll sit there way beyond what is scientifically possible for the human body to survive. Like scientists have come and watched him like, dude, he is going to die. Like you can't be in water that cold without dying. And he does it routinely, like every week.
He's got his own freezer built that it keeps it the same temperature as the North Pole.
Yep.
And with like 20, 30 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, he
and
literally
he
has fans in it
in his bare feet and underwear every day.
He'll just go wander around for like the equivalent of a mile's walk on the North Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super crazy.
Or he'll just go barefoot through the snow in the mountains for like a few hours and he'll come back and be fine. Like he won't have frostbite and stuff. Now, to be clear, we are not scientists. Don't go do this because you literally might get frostbite and lose some toes
and die.
Because this guy, like they're like, dude, he should lose fingers and stuff because it's so cold. But the point being, there are ways that the human body can acclimate, and he has a whole bunch of stuff on how he does it, which some of it's kind of weird, but scientifically speaking, it's actually really true. Cold exposure done properly is very good for your heart and blood vessels and systems and arteries and things. And there's a really good video that we should link, or I should send it to you by.
Oh, it's so good.
By Johnny Harris.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one.
Okay, so Johnny Harris is a journalist, independent journalist. Used to be a Mormon, actually, interestingly.
Interesting.
Anyway, he left the Mormon church. But he went to Iceland in the winter or early spring, something, and started playing around with cold exposure and makes a video about it and goes into like the science of what it's doing to your body.
Oh, that's cool.
Fascinating. And he's a really, really good storyteller. And that was where I actually first got to understand why this is really, really good for your body. Before that, it was like almost a gimmick. And now it's like, actually, I should do this for health reasons. I really probably should. I'm going to send it to you right now.
We should link the other video on which their slogan is "Do hard things."
Oh, Yes Theory has done.
Yes Theory, yeah.
They did multiple videos.
Oh, it was so good. One of my most enjoyable videos I've watched in a long time. Anyway,
wait, which one? It was
the first documentary that they filmed of him.
To be totally honest, Yes Theory, not Christian or anything, so like we don't endorse a lot of the stuff they post, but they have done multiple videos with Wim Hof, and they are fascinating. They are absolutely fascinating because they will take like. They're normal people on their team. They're just YouTubers. No experience whatsoever with cold exposure. And they go visit Wim Hof. Which one video are you thinking of? I think
I sent it to you. It's probably the one you're talking about.
Probably the same one. So they go to visit him in like the winter in his cabin way up in the mountains, and it's absolutely freezing cold. First day there. Everybody up, 6 a.m. or whatever. It's super early. It's windy. It's snowing. And they go marching out back. And it's like, all right, everybody into your swimming trunks, and we're going to jump off this cliff into this like pool of water off a waterfall. It's like so cold that the water should be frozen, but it's moving, so it's not frozen. And they have no experience. Like they've never done this before. And they do it, and they're fine. Which is like where I thought, that's weird. Because I would have thought if I do that, I'd just like instantly die.
Yeah.
And they don't die, oddly enough.
Turn into a popsicle.
Yes, which they almost do. And then he goes and like trains them on how to do it well and how to survive in the cold. And
so interesting.
It's fascinating.
Anyway, so I feel like we got a little off topic here because cold showers and Wim Hof stuff are two completely different
things. Cold exposure, though.
Cold exposure is really interesting. But so, like, back to our question of like, what would like why would someone do cold showers?
Yes,
like,
please.
I've known the health benefits of cold showers for a long time, and it's like, yeah, cool. It's kind of one of those things where it's important, but like, it's not going to kill me as fast if I don't do it. And so, like, I don't really care actually too terribly much about the health benefits of things.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So, like,
I'm confused because that's like the only thing.
As far as like the motivator for why I do it,
Oh.
The health had nothing to do with it because I've known that for a long time and that never changed my behavior in it. What actually got me to do it and why I still do it is, so like I said, I was like, all right, what's the most disciplined thing I could do right now? And I did it. And it was like, whoa, that was cool. I didn't think I could actually do it. And I was like, I wonder if I can do this again tomorrow. And so for me, every day, it's a test of whether or not I'm in control of my behavior and whether or not I can maintain a level of discipline to do things that are physically, mentally painful to me, but that are good for me.
Like, does it physically like pain?
It physically hurts
like
you.
Needles kind of
Yes.
thing? Ooh.
It's amazing.
Well, I'm never doing that.
No, because in my mind, so like you can think about it as like one person will do it and it's the worst experience of their life. Someone like me would do it and it is amazing. I thoroughly enjoy every minute of it. Because to me, it's like a symbol or a sign that I'm still in control of doing hard things. I'm still pushing myself through it. And like, that's what originally got me into it. And it's really interesting because I was watching some videos. Matt D'Avella does a really good video on cold showers. And he talks about something called the flinch, which is that moment right before you have a big talk to an audience or like something really big happens, like right before you go skydiving or right before you jump or whatever. And that flinch is kind of the seize up moment where your body, you start reacting and you get this tension in your body. And like a lot of people, they'll start laughing or something as a way to kind of release that tension. And that flinch that happens to us all the time in our lives. There's all kinds of times when this happens to us and we choose to either push through it and overcome that and do the hard thing, or we shrink away and we live in kind of a defeat mindset where it's like, oh, I can't do that. That's not worth it. I care about my comfort too much. And what he talks about is he actually, Julian Smith, not the YouTuber, Julian Smith has a book called The Flinch, which is about this topic. And he says, I'll just read some of what he said here. If you want to experience this flinch, take 5 minutes, go to your shower and turn on the cold water. You see what's coming. If you do see what's coming, you should feel a reaction in your body, a tightness in the chest, and attention throughout your body. The flinch for something that hasn't yet happened. If you really want to feel the flinch, go ahead and jump in. And it's this whole thing of like, it's not about cold showers. Like for me, it's actually not about cold showers.
So not the health or any of that. It's just
that almost has nothing to do with it for me.
Wow.
It's kind of an added benefit. But for me, it's every day. It's a daily reminder. I'm going to choose to push through this flinch because I know that is going to make the next flinch of the hard thing I need to do. It's going to make that flinch a little bit easier. And then the next one will be a little bit easier. It's a daily choice to push through that and to live a life that is empowering me to do those hard things. Oh yeah. So something else he says that I really, really like is he says that, as humans, like our physiology and our brain is always saying, be safe, be safe, be safe. Don't do anything too dangerous. And what that can do is over time, it kind of slowly shrinks our level of experiences and kind of pushes out the things that are uncomfortable or kind of on the edge until you're living this very, very narrow kind of sheltered, safe life, void of things that push you. The main reason why he talks about this, and this is why he says it's not about the cold showers, it's about experiencing and doing things that expand those experiences, where you willingly push yourself through something that causes you to flinch and kind of seize up right before that moment, and you push through it because you know the benefits it's going to have for you. And it's a reminder of not shrinking away from those hard things and instead pushing through them. And so for me, that's why I love cold showers. We have these moments in our lives all the time, right? Like it can be, maybe you're driving and for me, I haul mini barns. I get this moment all the time when there's a situation, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I'm kind of freaking out, but I have to do it. Like there's no other option. I've never done this before. That's a scenario where I'm forced through a flinch. I choose to do it, but there's more riding on it than just my decision. And there's consequences if I don't, versus something like a cold shower where I'm in complete control of every aspect of it. How long I do it, the temperature of the water, how much discomfort, whether or not I enjoy it, all this stuff I'm in complete control of. And if there's something different about choosing to do something like that, it shapes your experience in life a little bit differently, I think.
It expands the circle you've drawn of possibility for your life.
Exactly.
It expands that.
Right. And we need both of these.
Yeah.
We need both for sure. But for me, just having a daily practice of doing something that is hard, like it is never easy. You don't get used to it. Like the initial shock, you don't, or at least I haven't yet. It's still like, it just gets me every time. And probably when it gets to the point where it doesn't get me anymore, I'll find something different. Ice baths or something that causes my body to just like react, because to me that's so important. And at first it was like I can't dare to miss a moment or miss a cold shower, because what if I slip back into my old comfort and like, I'm just gonna lethargically sit in the shower and it's gonna be great, and like living a life of comfort and avoiding all these hard things. I was like almost scared to accidentally take a hot shower, because I was like, what if this like triggers something in me and that side of me just takes over again and I cease doing these hard things. And so it was like, now it's not, of course, I still have complete control over that.
So okay. So it sounds like what you're experimenting with is very similar to what I've been experimenting with the last 5 years with my work in the Middle East and like the nonprofits that I've helped start, because you run into scenarios where you are not ready. You are not prepared for what is coming down the line, but ready or not, that thing is here. And you have to either run away and avoid it, or you have to press through. That can be, typically we think of it in the context of fear, which is why I'm convinced everybody needs to do stuff that scares them, and they need to do it regularly. I do that, which we hinted at the last episode. I do that on a very regular basis now. And the benefit it has been for my mind and my perspective of what I'm capable of, has hugely changed, because we often look at things that scare us and just say, I can't do that. No, you could do it if you were willing to go through the fear. But you would have to go through the fear. Right. And this sense that time is flowing like a river, and there's a very scary thing coming down, and you can either, quick jump onto the bank of the river or embrace it. Sounds a little bit like that's what you're doing. But
pretty much.
You're doing it like every day. You're making a habit of it every day. And it's
physical. It's not mental.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Oof. Wow. Yeah.
Because your body has a programmed response for stuff like that, which is run away. And it is hard to stay there and
just
like do that. And then like,
yeah,
you'll be fine. Like I remember the first week I would wash my hair separately, not in the cold shower because I was trying to get out as fast as I could. And then one day I was like, this is kind of dumb. I should wash my hair. And then when you get your head wet, oh my goodness, it is a whole new shock. And then after that, I would stand with my face in the water until my face started getting numb. And it's just like,
dude,
it's so good. Oh, it hurts like crazy and it burns but you feel so good afterward because, and I remember the first time I came out, it feels good because when you step out of the shower, it's nice and warm. Like everything is warm.
Yeah.
And your face is throbbing and you feel the blood pumping. It's so great. But that's not even the best part of it. The best part of it was like, whoa, I did this very hard thing. Mm-hmm. Like this was hard. Most people can't do this. Mm-hmm. Or they can, but they just choose not to do it.
Yeah.
But no, there is something to be said for someone who says that they can't do it and they believe they can't. They can't. Like
until
they mentally have created a block where they do not think that they can do that. And so they won't. Physically, like they could. But they've created a block where they don't allow themselves. And like, I did something that was really hard for me to do and it stretched me like crazy. It was probably the most uncomfortable thing I'd do all day, but it's so good for me to maintain that. And like I said, it's not about a single thing or moment. It's about a lifestyle of embracing those flinches of when you seize up and you still push through. And I experienced this like multiple times a week at SMBI as assistant dean, where it'd be like, there's this really hard thing. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to. Mm-hmm. I need to do this. And I'm going to be better for it. People around me are going to be better for it. For example, one day I was taking leadership on choir tour and I was doing all the announcements and schedule and all this stuff. And it was great. I loved it. And then we gave our choir program. And at intermission, usually the head dean, Weston, cruises up there, gives like a little bit of a PR thing. This is who we are. This is why you should come give us your money. It's great. And so since I was taking the day, he assumed that I was going to go ahead and do the intermission. He didn't tell me that until about 15 minutes beforehand. And so he's like, oh, so you're doing the intermission thing, right? I'd never done it. I'd never watched him do it. I had no clue how to magically formulate 5 to 10 minutes just out of thin air. And so that moment was a flinch where it was like, oh man, this is really hard. I do not want to do it. I could tell him no, and he would do it for me, but this is going to be good for me and I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And like, you can kind of allow yourself to be pushed into things where you're like, kind of, I don't really want to do it. And you just kind of go ahead and do it. Or you can decide from the moment it happens, like, I'm going to do this. And then everything locks in. You're like 100% focused because you have this one task. And you're just like, I had notes all over my hand and stuff. Like, it was great. Like, I had so much fun then. And I felt so good afterward because I pushed through it and I did it. And I feel like I did a good job. Like, and then I wanted to do more of them. I was like, give me more opportunities like this. So like, it's not just one particular moment. It's a bunch of moments that make a lifestyle of this. And cold showers for me is how I daily do that.
Well, it's interesting. It's worth noting that the best special forces units in the world, one of the first elements of their training is this. The SEAL teams is famous for their, they spend a week just doing all kinds of brutal, totally pointless things, like laying in the frozen ocean, like surf, like in the winter. It is so cold. I'm not sure if you've ever been to the California coast. Like when it's cold, it's always cold. The water's always cold. But when it's like cold outside too, not just the water, it's awful. And they'll make them like sitting there for like hours, just brutal, just carrying heavy stuff, getting super dirty, going without sleep, really pushing them. And the point being is teaching them as a human being, you can actually push through this stuff if you choose. And they said the ones who wash out, which is a huge ratio of fail rate is huge. Almost every single time it has nothing to do with physical capability. It was their brains just said, I can't do this. And so they would quit. And then the guy who's not as physically fit, isn't as experienced, would actually finish because his brain says, oh, I'm just not going to quit. Right. And I can push through this thing that I really don't want to do. And then now those guys coming out the other side of that are much more capable because they haven't put those limits on themselves.
Exactly.
So here's one little tip. Maybe this will be helpful for everybody else. This is actually along with like a few other things. Again, we'll do it in a separate episode that made the difference between me being a good skydiver and me not being a good skydiver was this right here. When you're facing something really challenging or kind of scary, you're going to start feeling that inside where it's like, oh boy, you start feeling the tingles and I don't even know all the words that are associated with it, but that kind of that fear, your heart rate picks up and you're like, oh my, I'm not ready for this. That's usually fear or anxiety or stress or whatever you want to call it. When you start feeling that, the moment you feel it in your brain, say, oh, that's really interesting. I am supposed to feel that way. Because I feel that way, I'm right where I need to be. That's good that I'm feeling that way.
Right.
That is me getting ready to do something amazing. This is exactly where I need to be, exactly how I should feel. You just take that feeling and you embrace it and say, yep, that's exactly it's exactly what I need. If you don't, when ends up happening is you start hyperventilating, the fear gets a hold of you, it works its way through all of you, and then you freeze up and you do something really dumb, or you just quit and you say, I just can't do this thing. And that one thing made such a difference that I belong here.
Right. Yeah.
I belong right here. So like skydiving training, you're put in the plane, you're the one right by the door, your instructors are there. And every time, even now that I'm not a student anymore, you have that terror, like absolute animal terror. And every time I started feeling it, I would just tell myself, I belong here. I belong on this plane. I've earned my seat on this plane. I'm supposed to be here. And just that little piece right there, made the difference.
Right.
Which is kind of wild, actually. Like something so small could make such an impact. Anyway.
Yeah.
Found that helpful.
That is really interesting. So what are you going to do to embrace the flinch?
Keep skydiving.
Is it going to be well, yeah, that is more scary than cold showers. I will give you that.
Yeah.
But to you viewers, I'm just saying, you're not required to like do this sort of thing. Like no one's really required to embrace the flinch. But I don't know, if we make a habit of shrinking away from stuff like that, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't very happy with the life I lived when I did that.
Yeah,
and
like
not
there's so many
embracing hard
ways.
things.
There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
To embrace the flinch. Like go in the coffee shop and make friends with the person serving you coffee, or like go travel somewhere you've never been or learn something new. Like there's so many ways to push yourself, and which we will do come February. Austin's going to jump out of an airplane and I'm going to be there and we're going to record lots of good stuff and it's going to be amazing. And maybe in that episode, we'll explain a little more about this skydiving thing we keep hitting.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good because there's a lot of lessons to be learned on that.
I'm so excited for that because like I said, I've told you this before, but the whole like pushing myself to do hard things is something I try to like be good at. Like I try to push myself to do things that I'm really not comfortable with. And I'm excited to see what it's like when I come skydiving, whether or not like I'm going to be able to, all right, I'm going to do this. Or if I freeze up and just can't do it.
You'll be able to do it. There's no question, but it'll be interesting what's going on in your head because there's two parts of your head. The intellectual part is saying, oh, I'm fine. Like seriously, like it's one of the safest sports ever. It is incredibly safe. So the intellectual part of your brain is saying, oh, I'm fine. The instinct part is saying, this is absolutely nuts because we are hardwired at the very core of our being that gravity kills you. So it goes against everything your brain knows to be safe. And the dichotomy will just about like it'll really mess up your head.
It's gonna be so great.
It's kind of weird, yeah. So anyway, so we have rambled long enough about cold showers and Wim Hof and the health reasons and the flinch and doing hard things. If you found this episode interesting, you might want to consider subscribing because very soon there will be an episode dropping called, I don't know what we're going to call it, but Austin jumping out of an airplane or something. And we will make sure and have lovely audio of him screaming on the way down. It's going to be great. I'm going to be there jumping with him. It's going to be awesome. So subscribe to that if you're interested because there's lots of good things to learn from that. And as always, you can find us on the internet at austinschrock.com or on social media at Austin Schrock and me, reaganschrock.com, or just down my name at Goodreads, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us on all the places. Of course, leave us a rating on this podcast because that helps push our lovely voices into other people's ears, as Austin says.
Yep.
So anyway, anything you wanted to add?
I'm just throw this out there. Everybody takes showers. So it's a daily opportunity.
That's true.
No, you don't have to.
Every day that
you be better for
don't take a cold shower, you're going to remember Austin telling you could have done it. You could have expanded your horizon of possibility, and you said no. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Cool. We're not trying to guilt trip you.
No.
Obviously not.
No. This isn't guilt tripping at all. What is this?
Pressure tripping?
Yes, definitely pressure.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys in the next episode.
Peace out.